zero hunger, reduced inequalities, quality education, clean water and sanitation, sustainable communities, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Do these ring a bell? Surely yes. These are just 7 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs. How does basic research figure out in the SDGs? What role does basic sciences play in improving asset positions, creating wealth, protecting the environment, making people happier, and promoting well-being? In its 43rd plenary meeting of the General Assembly, the UNESCO adopted a resolution supporting the proclamation by the General Assembly of the United Nations of 2022, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, or IYBSSD. On October 7, 2022, the National Research Council of the Philippines will co-organize the IYBSSD PH Launch, if only to highlight the value of basic sciences in the country. The Council is steadfast and unwavering in making good its mandate to promote basic and fundamental sciences. This is encapsulated in the National Integrated Basic Research Agenda, or the NIBRA. In the next 6 years, we align with the national goals and the SDGs by expanding the NIBRA of the past to include policy research, in addition to blue skies, or pure basic research, and the oriented basic research. We are interested in R&D that will not only produce discoveries and new knowledge, but also those which produce proofs of concepts that will later on be further studied to generate assets, resources, wealth, and incomes. We are likewise interested in studies that will provide the scientific evidence for policy and decision-making. Let me tell you that an NRCP member may get research funding on the following priority areas: blue skies research, or pure basic research. This is the funding window for purists and theorists who do curiosity-driven research without any agenda to follow, nor a practical application of the findings in sight. For example, you just want to find out, why is the sky blue? Aside from pure basic research, we have oriented basic research. This time, we seek new findings, but the researcher knows the possible application of the findings, and there is an agenda being followed. In the NIBRA, we have 6 oriented basic research themes. Saklaw for sustainable communities. We are interested in lakes, the protection and conservation of lakes. Studies could include the physical-chemical characterization, economic resource valuation, carrying capacity, and socioeconomics. We also fund projects aligned with GMAP program, greening mined-out areas in the country. With new bioremediation protocols generated by NRCP experts, we are seeing a landscape of green, growing vegetation on a once bare, barren, and brown mined-out areas. You may want to do biodiversity studies too. We will be happy if you report findings of new species of flora and fauna, as well as new discoveries in the various ecosystems. Still under Saklaw, our risk communication R&D for disaster risk reduction, management, and resiliency. We are looking at a near future where all the LGUs in the country will have their own risk-com plans. Our NRCP experts are developing social technologies for use of policy and decision makers. ATIN for Inclusive Nation Building is another NIBRA. This is the agenda where NRCP social scientists, governance experts, and those in the humanities do research and documentation of indigenous knowledge and practices. We have funded studies about gongs, kulintang, the resilient music of Mindanao, the extant music of Cebu, and we have a bigger study on Musika Pilipinas. These support the HATC program, which focuses on heritage and the arts for tourism and the creative industry. Studies on national security such as cybersecurity, territorial integrity, and public safety are welcome as well. If you want to study on any of the wide-ranging social dimensions of the COVID pandemic, then submit your proposals under the KTAP COVID R&D program. That is, kapakanan ng tao sa oras ng pandemya. Since June 2020, we have funded 25 KTAP Quick Studies, and we are on our 22nd KTAP webinar series this month. Topics are on the situationer to include the impact of COVID on employment, entrepreneurship, tourism, education, traditional cultural practices, health, and the fishing, farming, and service communities. A bigger KTAP program is on the work-from-home preferences in the government sector. Here, we developed the JITWISE cost estimator and the Matino to measure impact of people, planet, and profit. Likas is an agenda on health sufficiency. Did you know that rare environments promise a rich and untapped source of natural products to combat multi-drug-resistant microorganisms and the emerging pandemics of the future? NRCP researchers discover active actinobacteria compounds and actinomycetes from marine sediments, lahar, volcanoes, bat guano, mangroves, caves, and rivers. If you want to study other rare environments or the endemic species from aquatic environment, do submit your proposals to NRCP. We would love to know new findings and discoveries. Veterinary studies to include emerging and re-emerging zoonotic diseases, to include its etiology, transmission, and management is also NRCP's interest. Moreover, NRCP is now heightening its basic virology R&D in support of the VIP program of the country. Come to NRCP if your research interests are along this area. SAPAT is an agenda on food and nutrition security. There are 3 priority R&D themes, namely taxonomic studies on flora and fauna as new food sources. The plant you always see along the road as you walk to your office every day may seemingly be ordinary and unexciting, but may turn out to be a potential food source. We also fund R&D on food and feed-borne contaminants and adulterants in raw and unprocessed food products. Most of us are fond of street foods, right? SAPAT studies will help us make foods like street foods safe for consumption. Proposals on halal studies are also accepted, particularly those that focus on the food and beverage industry. Tubig is another agenda which seeks to look into the nature, the degree, and the extent of salt intrusion in drinking water. Considering our archipelagic nature, compounded with climate change and sea level rise, will we have safe and potable drinking water in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years from now? Watershed studies are priority funding areas as well. The Council is currently funding similar studies, such as in Lake Lanao watersheds. Alert studies are on clean, renewable, alternative energy sources. If we can only provide electricity to the GIDA, the geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas, many lives will change. Islands and coastal communities will have post-harvest facilities, incomes will increase, and more so, children will be able to study well, and more livelihoods will be put in place. Policy research. More than this oriented basic research and the pure basic research is policy research. Solons who need the science to support their bills and similar policies request the NRCP to conduct research which they can use in their work. NRCP funded the studies on the Mount Agad-Agad for sustainable ecotourism, the production, distribution, and economic contribution of marang, the biodiversity of Siargao's mangrove, as well as reviews of the existing laws such as the IPRA law, the National Nutrition Act, and the Local Government Code. Funding policy research is NRCP's window to respond to the Council's mandate per Act 4120, the Council being an advisory body to government on issues of national concern. So, what are you waiting for? You have a place at NRCP. Our project managers at the REMS are waiting for you. Visit our website and our Facebook page, the RPod. We also have the InfoMetro, our e-newsletter, to bring you more information on what's in store for you. The next time you check on the SDGs and the role of basic sciences in attaining it, remember to click on these NRCP buttons. We need you. We need your research results. We are all in this together. Maginhawa ang buhay sa siyensya at kultura. Tara na!